Provodnikov before we get into the Rios predictions. Rob, go ahead. What you thought about that?
Well, based on everything, the aftermath of the fight, everything that I'm hearing, first off, I want to commend both fighters. They put on a hell of a show. But as far as what Bradley did in the fight, I mean, honestly, he's not a fighter as far as fight-wise. He might want to stick to doing what he does best, which is boxing. And he's a great skilled boxer. So, the next time he goes into a fight, I agree with him wanting to put on a show for the fans and everything. But, I mean, boxing's a sport. Stick to what you do best and outbox the guy instead of trying to trade with him. You'll have a much better outcome.
Definitely, I agree. He's not a fighter. I mean, he's not a power puncher. He couldn't put him away. But, Rudy, what did you think?
Well, remember when we talked about it, and I told you guys were saying that Bradley was going to win easily, and I was like, I don't know, man, it's going to be a good fight, though. And, lucky for the fans, that's what it turned out to be. It was a good slugfest. I mean, Bradley, he has a lot of heart. He's a warrior. I mean, Ruslav, honestly, I didn't know much about him, but he obviously, set his name up for future bouts here in the States. I mean, the fight pretty much was what I love from boxing, which is, just landing bombs. I appreciate watching, tactical fights, boxers, ringmanship and all that stuff, but I like the straight out, street brawls. And that's what I liked about this fight, it was a war, man.
Yeah, it was definitely a war. It was a war that really didn't have to be, because I really think Bradley just could have outboxed him. And I know you both probably have read the article I put up about him that is him holding back, basically. I mean, do you think he held back and kind of put on a show? Because, I mean, do you think he could have been outboxed, or do you think instead Ruslan walked him down?
I mean, Marcus, that leads my question to you, though, is who do you think it did more good for, Bradley or him? It did more good for him because now he's going to get more fights just off of that fight he had with Bradley. And if Bradley held back to make it more fan-friendly, to me, in my opinion, it did very little for Bradley. It did very little for him in the future and setting up him for other fights. Pretty much all it did was let Provodnikov set him up for more bigger fights and bigger paydays down the road. And for Bradley now, his next fight, anybody that tries to fight him next, all they're going to try to do is outbrawl him and knock him out.
I see what you're coming on, Rob, but I kind of disagree with you a little bit. I mean, I think this fight is going to promote Bradley a lot more. I mean, he had lost a gang of fans, if he had any fans to begin with. He had lost a lot of fans with that Pacquiao fight, and honestly, in my opinion, he was kind of like a Devin Alexander type fighter, where they have that skills, but they just don't draw that crowd. And I think by fighting the way he did, I mean he won me over. I mean, I like Bradley from the get-go, but whenever I would hear Bradley's gonna fight, I wasn't like, oh hell yeah, I'm waiting for it. But now, because I know the reason why he fought the way he fought was just to to brush that Pacquiao fight off his shoulders and say, this is what I am, this is what I could do. That's my opinion, and from now on, whenever there's a Bradley fight, I'm definitely tuning in,
And yeah, I think that's why I kind of wrote that article, is because I think, most fans don't find him appealing. Of course, us boxing writers, we're going to appreciate the boxing, that he actually does put on. Whereas casual fans, want a knockout or want some exchanging, which he didn't have to allow Provodnikov to even do. I mean, I think from the get-go he tried to make it appealing, and, I mean, he did that, obviously, and got some fans out of it. So really, I say it helped both fighters. So to say that Ruslan came off with just the upside would not be true. I mean, sure, Bradley took a beating and a concussion, but he gained some fan base, definitely. And possibly, almost guaranteedly, fight of the year. So,
I
give that, but
definitely feel that if Bradley would have just stick to boxing, I'm pretty sure you would have been hearing it all over Twitter, like, oh, you know, this is why we don't like Bradley. You know, he's not exciting. And for whatever the reason it might have been, and I mean, I just think that the way he fought that night, I mean, I just think fans are going to be more, you know, more excited to see him next.
definitely, yeah, I mean, he's definitely more exciting now than he was before. And, you know, he's trying to help and put Pacquiao in the past, and, you know, I think he did that pretty well.
Oh, yeah, he did that, definitely. Definitely.
All right, let's go ahead and go on. Get some predictions and kind of how you think the fight this weekend is going to go between Alvarado and Rios, number 2, World War II, as they're calling it. Rob, go ahead.
Well, my prediction is a little different than a professional prediction. I predict that Alvarado will come in and box him more. I think he'll try to, you know, build a slower pace than before, but I don't think he'll succeed. I think it'll go back to them just trading shots. It's honestly who wants it more this time around, and I feel Alvarado wants it more. It's his first loss in his career. He's hungry to get that loss back. And, you know, if he's gonna, in order for it to go with the great trilogies like Mickey Ward and Gotti, you know, like the Diego Corrales, Jose Luis Castillo battle, I mean, he's got to have a nice little trilogy. So I'm picking Alvarado to win his respect back and beat Rios. It's not going to be an easy feat, but I predict that Alvarado's going to take him.
Right.
All right.
I agree.
Rudy?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of split on this fight. You know, the fan in me, you know, I want to see a repeat of, you know, Rios Alvarado 1. If that happens, if they do, you know, decide to trade bombs again, and Alvarado decides to fight Rios inside the pocket, pretty much fighting Rios' fight, I think that Rios is going to win again. The other side of me, I would like to see Alvarado outbox Rios, so that Alvarado wins. And like how Rob said, you know, we have a trilogy. You know, these two guys, I mean, it's like, I mean, they just, it's like, it's a perfect matchup, the way I see it. Because I know that as soon, Alvarado might start off boxing Rios the way he did on the first fight. But as soon as Rios lands, you know, the macho in Alvarado, you know, he's just going to come out and he's going to be like, screw that, you know, let's go at it. And, I mean, hopefully we see a repeat of part 1. But I honestly think, you know, it's a win-win situation for the fans.
Definitely. The way I'm kind of seeing it, I mean, Rios, to me, everybody has that switch that can get knocked out. I'm not so sure Rios has the switch. I think it's been cemented shut or something, you know, that the chin doesn't matter anymore because, I mean, that he can get hit. He might go down, but I don't think he can go out. So really the only way to win is to outbox him. And I think Alvarado learned that in the first fight around.
Right.
So, I mean, he does box and then he eventually gets caught up in it. He gets caught up in the action, not necessarily, you know, his trainer telling him not to do the right thing. So he'll begin to box and then he starts to trade. So he's really his own worst enemy. But I think he will stick enough to boxing. Don't get me wrong, he's still going to trade because that's who he is. But he'll box enough to stay away from Rios, to not eat as much damage as he did last time. So I'm picking Alvarado, even though I heard that he's not having a great camp. I'm still going to pick for him for a unanimous decision. But Have you guys been hearing about the laceration he has on his face?
I've seen it.
Going on?
I saw it. But I didn't hear anything that happened with it. I didn't know the story. I thought it was
James or what?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Rudy. Couldn't hear you.
So I didn't mean to interrupt. I mean, was he sparring a bear or what? Those are some huge ass scars on his.
I mean, they are. I honestly thought they were just coming over back from the first fight or something. But I know that's a little out there. But I didn't know what happened.
Maybe he's not having necessarily a bad camp. Maybe he's, fighting bigger fighters and kind of beating them up, which is smart. I mean, think about it. You look at James Kirkland. He used to train against cruiserweights and kick the crap out of them. So, if you train against a higher dude, you're gonna be used to that power, be able to take it much more. So, but let's go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, man, he just got caught up in some street fights. I don't.
Yeah, he's training old Rocky style, just picking fights in bars.
I know.
Somebody says something to him about Rios, he just knocks him out.
Honestly, they don't look like boxing-related injuries. I mean, the scar is right on his cheek and then on his neck. He has a couple of them on the neck. I mean,
yeah, you don't cut below cheek. That's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna go on here. So Broner skips 140. Now some people are taking this as that he doesn't have anybody available at 140 to fight. I will concede to the fact that a lot are taken up right now. Matise's fighting Peterson, which is going to be an awesome fight. Of course, you got Garcia and Judah. But what do you guys think?
Well,
you can go ahead and start up.
You know I'm opinionated on this, Lucas, because, I like the Broner style fighter. I like the cockiness,
I know.
all that. But in my opinion, Broner right now is going to Mayweather saying Mayweather's like his little brother, or his bigger brother and all this and that. At 140, Mayweather's got that locked. Broner wants to create a lane for himself. I don't think he's ducking anybody at 140. His last fight he won, they started mentioning, the bigger names at 140, and Broner said, you're naming all that's because I'm not at 140. So I don't believe Broner believes anybody can beat him at 140, and he's not scared of him. I think he wants to create his own lane. He wants to, be in the same shadow as Mayweather. He doesn't want to be under the shadow of Mayweather. He wants to be in the same light as him. So I feel he believes he can go up to 147, take on the competition there, and dominate. And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if that's his lane, that's where he wants to stay in. Matisse, any of the other 140-pounders, if they want Broner, which they eventually will, they can go up. They can move up and fight him at 147. And that's my opinion with him going to 147. He's going to create his own lane, create his own shadow, and be able to beat all them guys, and even the ones who do step up. My opinion, anyway.
I mean, at 147, what competition would he have, though? Who's dominating 147 right now?
Well, that's what I'm saying, Rudy.
That's the problem. He's not going to get. That's the problem, though. He's not going to get any of those fights, Rob. Really, all it is Pacquiao and Mayweather waiting to fight, and they'll never fight. So, and he's not going to fight either one of them. So it's kind of a stalemate.
He won't fight. He'll fight Pacquiao. He won't fight Mayweather. He'll fight a Pacquiao.
He won't get a fight with Mayweather. Not with the Golden Boy beef.
Yeah,
Golden Boy's top rank.
When you talking about Pacquiao, then he won't fight Pacquiao.
Yeah, he won't fight either one. So.
Is that what you're saying? Well, he won't fight Mayweather because him and Mayweather respect each other. If Pacquiao wanted to fight, in and you talk about the promotion and everything like that. Eventually, these guys it's going to get to the point where these guys are going to have to go against the promoter and make the fights that they want. But
I don't know about you guys though, but the friend excuse, like we're buddies, that don't cut it with me. I'm sorry, but Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti were like best friends. They still fought each other.
Before that fight, though. Not
No,
before the very
but
first
they
fight.
continued to fight. But they continued to fight even after they were friends.
Oh, well,
I mean, sure they might have
got
got the money a little bit more. Ward did anyway.
I mean, in my opinion, and I'm looking at this, subjectively. I mean, personally, I feel that if Broner would go to 140, in my opinion, I think, and he dominates 140, I think he will make more of a bigger name for himself. He will be considered, one of, pound for pound boxers in the future. Because I mean, you have way too much competition at 140. Way too much. I mean, that competition right there to me right now is one of the more solid competition divisions. And personally, I would rather see Broner go up against, the Matisse, the Garcia, the Maidana, whoever else is at 140. I mean, to me, I think those names have more weight than any name right now at 147. And if he really does care about his legacy and want to go down in boxing history, I think that should be the division he should be dominating and unifying right there. I mean, that's my opinion.
I agree with you 100% on the fact that it would be more valiant. It would be more heroic for him to go down at 140, fight all the big top names that are at 140. But strategically, it's not smart. It's smarter strategically for you to go at the weight that you can make and be comfortable with, that you can dominate. I mean, I understand what you guys are fans of fighting, and I am too. But boxing's a sport. Like any other sport, your number one goal is to be a champion. Your number one goal is to keep a championship and maintain it.
That's the difference, though. That's the difference.
So then, going by what you said, Rob, so then that justifies Canelo's career. Then strategically, it's better to give up least, competitive opponents so that he can make a name for himself and finally fight a Mayweather. I mean, to me, yeah, it strategically makes sense, but
kind of like in which. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rick.
No, go ahead.
What you guys are saying though is you're saying that fights. You're trying to say that fights cannot be made at 147 with a 140 pounder, like Matisse or something like. They can go up. They can move up to 147 and fight Broner if they want it, if they so choose. So I would say that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, they could go up, but I mean, there are most of these fighters at 140 are at the prime at that division. There shouldn't be an excuse or a reason why they should need to go up right now. Unless they, like, for example, I would agree if let's say Danny Garcia eventually moves up at 141, he clears off and probably even unifies that division. Like right now, he's the champ, but I mean, he beat Morales. Like, okay, wow. Like, now he's gonna go after Sam. Cool, I guess, But why not fight the Matisses and whoever else is down there who's it's a top 140 division and then move up? Like, why just do one or two offenses or fight 1-2 guys and then let me go up? Like, I don't respect that.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I agree with both of you because, I mean, it's clearly not the cool way to go to skip 140. And like Rob said, I mean, they can go up, yeah, but you're making a whole division chase you because you're skipping. Now, if you go back down, okay, that's one thing. If you go back down, then go ahead. You You don't see fighters do that a lot. Though. You don't see fighters go up and then go back down. That really happens a lot.
If Broner does that.
I mean, if Broner does that, I'll give him props.
Right.
But he's not going to do that. I almost 100% guarantee you that he will not do that.
Me too.
But at the same point, it is a strategic move because I honestly don't think he's ready for the 140s. He's not. I mean, Danny Garcia catches him with one of them crazy hooks. I don't know. His chin hasn't really truly been tested either. Matisse, of course, I mean, you doesn't really need to have anything said about him. I mean, Khan would be honestly a good fight because Khan's quick. But this is a strong competition. I mean, Peterson's competition for anybody. Of course, he could fight Marquez, but it's a strategic move because he's not ready for them. So he's going to jump and try to get some more experience in 147 against, a Malignaggi who's, feather-fisted, so to speak.
Yeah.
And gets more experience before he fights anybody, if he does at all. But again, Al Heyman has his people, so we won't know if they will fight each other at all.
That's what I was gonna hit at, Luke. One thing that gets on, I mean, I'm not gonna say I lose sleep over it, right? But one thing that gets on my nerves is like everybody talks about protect the fighters and Canelo this and whatever, Chavez that. But in my opinion, Broner's been protected by not just HBO and Al Heyman. I mean, honestly, when you look back at his past opposition, who's really been a big contender or a true champion? I mean, he fought DeMarco. I mean, who the hell knew DeMarco? You know what I mean?
I mean, there's one thing. Comparing him to Canelo, to me, is not fair. Because Broner's on the come up, like Canelo. But when's the last time you seen Canelo fight?
No, I'm not
more active.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not defending Canelo. I'm just saying, let's call it how it is. But if you're gonna pinpoint on a dude for whatever lack of that he's doing or showing, I mean, Broner's another example of how boxing is a business. Because the way Canelo's been run, his career's been run, like how you say, Rob, it's totally strategically. It's because of the business. It's because De La Hoya needs that Mexican cash cow. I mean, you gotta, as a boxing fan, you gotta understand that Mexicans put in a lot of money in boxing. Mexican fans. So do the African American community. That's why they're building Broner the way they are. It is strategically, and that just proves how boxing is the business, which gets in the way of the actual sport.
But I agree. And Canelo just has a worse advisor. That's all that is. Because I mean, if you look at it, neither one has fought true tough competition. Nobody can say, okay, finally Broner has made it. I mean, I can't say that he has that staple yet. Whereas Canelo, again, I can't say it. But Broner made it look more impressive because, one, he jumped weight classes.
Right.
So he's already multi-champion. And junior. And, he's fighting Canelo. Is fighting junior, welterweights that are blown up waterweight to his weight, which is ridiculous. Now, as a champion, I don't know. I mean, I would automatically decline that. I would tell Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy to be like, no, find me, a contender. So, I mean, he has a bad advisor, or he has somebody bad in his ear, not, strategically placing him in the right place. But he did finally take Trout, so we'll see what he's made out of. Whereas Broner, that's still in the air. So, Malignaggi, I think he looked at as an easy title. So he's like, all right, I'll jump up to 147, dodge all these tough guys, get a belt. And then, he can take on whoever, Devin Alexander or Kell Brook or Ortiz if he comes back from dancing. But,
I mean, all of those for Broner, to me, are decent fights. know. I mean, of course, you're telling me that Broner's going to be heavily favored, but I mean, Brock, we haven't seen Brock because, you know, his fight got postponed. But from what I hear, he's a legitimate contender. Devin Alexander, record-wise, you know, his style's not that great, but record-wise, on paper, they say he's a decent contender. But the main thing you're looking at for Broner's perspective is he will draw Matisse and them up to him at 147, being as the money's there. A marketable fight.
He can draw him, but that doesn't mean anything. They can't force him to sign no fight contract. So, I mean, even at 147, when they come up, he might say, you know, no. Or, you know, let them battle it out and then say, man, you lost 2 fights or so. Well, yeah, with tough competition at 140, somebody's got to lose. And especially if they're actually going to fight each other. So once they lose, then he has an excuse and an out, just like a Mayweather, so to speak. But, I mean, he has a built-in excuse for whatever he does. Unfortunately, that's part of boxing, but part of what makes it, you know, discussable and everything. But we are about out of time, guys, but appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
And, yeah, be sure to tune in Saturday, see if our predictions come through.
yeah.
All right.
What's going to be?
All right, guys.
All right.